Hey guys, welcome to the Friday update again. Um, I'm gonna do a live drawing again, and I'm gonna answer the questions that I got over that. But I was just gonna do this as like a little bit of a you can see my face intro. All right, let's dive in. So what we're gonna be watching is kind of a quick drawing I did of Gandalf the Grey, in memory of Christopher Tolkien passing away yesterday. And also I love Lord of the Rings. But so I asked some questions on I asked 4 questions on Instagram. I think I went to the Facebook story as well, but Facebook is not as active. But I got a handful. I got a few. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. I took a little bit of notes so that I'm not rambling too much, but this is also my second take of this recording. So the first question was, where's Clarice and Art, who are, of course, characters from The Ginger with the Purple Plaid, but have not really shown up in Sweetheart's Retreat yet. Art was in one issue, but Clarice was not. I have planned, there is like an issue on my like planning Word document, or Google Drive document really, where I definitely want to have like the old crew back for an issue this season. I think sometime in March is what I'm looking at, which I think will be exciting. They're presumably living up in Capital City, which is that universe's version of Tallahassee, whereas like Grayson is that universe's version of my hometown. Because it's a universe where everything's just a little bit off. But yeah, they'll show up soon. I think I'm positive they will show up soon in the new comic. The next question I got, I'm too many ums. You hear that? You hear the ums? I'm wasting time. The next question I got was from like one of those Russian bots that somehow are able to come up with stuff, and it said hugs in asterisks. So thanks. The next question I got is, where do you get your inspiration from? Gotta chill with the ums. I get my inspiration from a lot of stuff. The comic is definitely inspired by my life and just events. I mean, I make a lot of it up just to practice my storytelling skills, but a lot of the situations are kind of based on real events. There's an again. The kind of daily drawings I do are inspired by just sort of what's around me. A lot of the posts have been like, Star Wars characters, superheroes. This one is, good old wizards, just because I'm those are like important to me. That sounds stupid, but I guess it's true that just sort of that high stakes fantasy. I think all of the 3 I listed, like superheroes, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, they all kind of exist within the fantasy realm in a way, sci-fi fantasy. But so I'm into those, and like I'll kind of draw inspiration from those a lot. But I think some other inspirations I get, and this is a later question, so I'll tie it in. Someone asked if I have any artistic inspirations, and I think a lot of cartoons and comic book artists are big inspirations, like the just drawing with thick black lines, even though I've kind of been trying to drift from that, but I'm working with lines more than shapes. It's just that's something that's always been an inspiration for me. I think like Charles Schultz, who did the Peanuts comics, a lot of my style kind of comes from that. A little bit from Butch Hartman's Fairly Odd Parents, just because I was into that in middle school, and it influenced kind of the developing cartoony style of mine. But I think in kind of like modern people, there are a lot of modern comic book artists that I kind of learned a lot of skills from, just because there is a lot of that kind of finding the lines you need, and then only kind of showing those off, if that makes sense. I mean, that's like I'm trying to explain that a little better, but it's sort of like finding what's necessary to convey the image you're trying to make, and then just not dealing with the extraneous details. I think that's something I definitely like to try and create. You can kind of notice that with the Gandalf drawing, is that I'm trying to keep it simple with the like have the shapes to show what we're looking at, but not really getting too crazy. The next question. This video is going to be kind of long, but I'm still clipping with the questions. The next question is black and white or color. I definitely black and white is sometimes easier. It's not easier, but like trying to get the values is a little easier to understand as a process. Color, I love the look of color, but I wouldn't say I'm great at understanding color theory. It's something I think I definitely need a little more practice with, because I'll often just grab colors and hope they look the best. I mean, I use a little bit of like knowing which colors are complementary and stuff like that, like the basics, but I don't think I'm an expert when it comes to the right colors to use and find. But I like the look of it as like a finished piece. I definitely want to practice more with colors and become more confident in that. Next question. The next question is, what is your least favorite thing to draw? I mean, hands is the obvious. I mean, you can see the hand right now that I drew for Gandalf. It's trash. Hands are weird because there's so much information in such a tiny space, really. If you were drawing hands on their own, like independent of the body, I can usually do pretty good. I can figure it out. But the moment you attach it to a body and remember that the rest of that's there, I don't know. I can't figure it out. Practice is definitely how I get there. But, I think that hands are the thing that I draw that I don't feel accomplished, even after going back and trying to fix it. There are a lot of things that you feel like you messed up on, and then you go back and you fix it, and you're like, oh, there you go. It's better. That's what it needed. Hands are not that. I rarely draw a hand for the 5th time and think, you know what, I got it. I figured out hands. I think they still kind of look bad. So that's kind of an obvious answer, but my least favorite thing to draw is hands. And I don't even mess with feet, honestly. That sounds even worse. The next question is, what is your deepest, darkest secret? You know what? There actually is one. One time, and then, like, he wouldn't stop at all. So, like, I ended up going... I mean, he's doing fine. The no hands thing is definitely not great, but, no one knew. The last question is, how do you balance your time between work, home, and media creation? Poorly, I would say. I think I waste a lot of time on social media. I think I would. I mean, I tell myself like, oh, I should delete it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, that's kind of where I post this stuff, and but I wish I could find a way to regulate myself to just outrageously big Z and like interacting, which not that there's too much interaction, but it's sort of keeping it within the outrageously big Z and not just looking at nothing videos, which I do a lot, but I mean, it's not too difficult. I mean, I work a part-time job, so it's only a little bit of the day. Um, Home, I mean, I help out with like chores and stuff, but I'm still sort of living with my family. Which, you know what? Living with my family sounds so much better than saying like, "Oh, I live with my parents." Because I mean, both of them are. There's a weird stigma about that. I mean, financially, it's the responsible decision since I'm not making a whole lot. But and then just I kind of use the times around that to create the comics and stuff like this. But it's something I want to get better at in 2020, and I think we're kind of working towards it. But it's a thing. Well, the video's over, so Godspeed, everyone, and I'll see you guys next week.